soccer fans. Welcome to the Soccer Brothers Podcast. This is episode number 67. I'm your host, Sal Qatar, and as always, I'm joined by my brother, Nihal. How you doing, Nihal?
I'm doing well, man, but I'm back in Toledo, and you're not here.
No, I'm not. I vacationed down to Arizona to see our good friend of the podcast, D. He was on an episode, or maybe a couple episodes.
Yeah, I think he was on a couple of episodes. Also, he was part of the group that created our intro and outro, so thank you, D. He was also our social media intern for a little while. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
But
he didn't really do that,
the glory days.
Did
He did for like a couple of weeks. How's Arizona, though? I imagine it's a lot warmer than it is here.
Yeah, and it's not too hot. Like, when you come in August, I think it's, like, too hot. Right now, it's, like, a nice, like, 60 degrees. Like, got a nice wind breeze. It's just
That's
a nice
perfect.
temperature, yeah.
Yeah, it was -8 this morning.
Oh, that sucks. Is it snowing? Does it look nice?
The snow is nice because no one's moved it, but it's been like that for a couple of days. It hasn't snowed recently.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, other exciting news, we have a new baby cousin. How about that?
Yeah. We weren't expecting it. She was like a month early. That's pretty cool. Only for us.
Sahana. It's a cool name.
Maybe someday she'll be on the podcast if she's a professional soccer player.
Well, by the time she's my age, I'll be 42, so.
Are you saying 40? Are you saying we're going to stop the podcast before you're 42?
Well, no, she might have to replace me. I might be too washed up for the.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the soccer.
All right, why don't we get right into the soccer? Saturday, the biggest Italian game of the season happened, Juventus versus Roma. Juventus came into the game 4 points ahead of Roma. Roma wanted to cut the gap to 1 point. Unfortunately, they could not. It ended up being 1-0 thanks to an Higuain strike in the 14th minute early on. Higuain muscled off De Rossi, dribbled it past Manolas, and put it past Szczesny with his left foot. It was a great shot, and Juventus ended up being able to defend for the rest of the game. Overall, what were your thoughts on this game? We saw Roma enter with a 4-2-3-1, Juventus enter with a 4-4-2. What were your thoughts?
Well, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. We did watch it together, but I don't think Roma were set up in the first half to succeed. Their midfield is obviously very good with Nainggolan as their attacking force with De Rossi and Strootman behind him. But really, there was no wing play in this game. Gerson was playing on the right wing, Diego Perotti was playing on the left wing, and they just couldn't get into the match, and they weren't able to give Edin Dzeko the service he needed.
And if your wingers aren't going to play well, then Dzeko is really not going to play well. He's not the type of player that's just going to succeed on his own.
Absolutely, and he's been the focal point of their attack this season, and he's been one of the best strikers in all of Europe. So I don't think they were able to effectively bring him into the match. Really, the only wide player who was getting any kind of crosses into the box was Rudiger, who was playing right back. Antonio Rudiger, the German. And even then he was a little bit out of position. Emerson at left back was useless. I thought Daniele Rugani had a fantastic match. He defended well. All his passes were on point. They were able to. Allegri was able to change up the tactics with bringing on Quadrado and playing with more wide players. He brought on Barzagli as well, and that team is just so deep, man. I mean, you look at their subs. The subs they brought on were Andrea Barzagli, Paulo Dybala, and Juan Quadrado.
That's
not ridiculous. In that order.
Yeah.
But that being said, Roma brought on Mohamed Salah, Stefan El Shaarawy, and Bruno Perez.
Well,
so those are some pretty good subs too. But I think Bruno Perez should have been starting the match. I think Gerson was a question mark. Obviously, Mohamed Salah not 100% healthy. He's coming off an injury, so. Maybe they were sort of forced to play Gerson, but you still had Stefan El Shaarawy.
Yeah, you still had El Shaarawy on the bench. And I think Gerson, coming into this game, had never played a full 90 minutes for Roma. He played 85 minutes total. Not the type of game that you want to get Gerson experience. And I don't know if it was trying to throw off Juventus or...
I don't know what it was, but he did absolutely nothing. He never came into the match. So you felt like this would be a match that Roma could capitalize on, especially with Leonardo Bonucci injured, as well as Dani Alves, which is why, they had Rugani playing. But Rugani did a masterful job of holding Rugani and Chiellini both did a masterful job of holding Dzeko in check. And there were times where I think Roma were trying to be creative, where they had Dzeko stay at the top of the box to keep Chiellini out of the box and set piece situations. But you got to have the focal point of your attack in there, and ultimately they weren't able to get much done. I think Perotti had maybe one or two chances towards the end of the match.
Yeah, one of the biggest chances was there was a free kick by Perotti, sailed all over the Roma players, but Manolas didn't expect that, so he went for a diving header, but it was too late because he just didn't see it coming.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was one corner kick where Fazio had it, but he couldn't slide it to Manolas, and then it was cleared up.
That's right. That's right. And, it's just clear that Juventus are the class of Serie A right now. It's going to be hard for Roma to catch up with them. I think it's possible. A 1-0 loss away from home in Turin is not the worst thing in the world. But you feel like Roma at least needed to get a draw in order to keep pace with Juventus. It's going to be tough for them. But I believe Juventus play Milan this weekend, so they could end up dropping points again.
Yeah. It's definitely possible. It's just Roma's going to have to be near perfect from here on out and probably win the reverse fixture with Juventus. But going back to this game, on paper, it might seem like Roma dominated, which is just not. I mean, we had 61% possession to their 39, and we had 10 shots to their 7. But we only tested Buffon twice, and Szczesny had to make a couple good saves, a couple on Sturaro, I remember in particular in the second half. So he kind of kept this game closer than it meant to be. Never really that great of a shot on target for Roma, and most of our possession was spent in our own half a lot. It was very hard for us to get it out of our own half, especially when Juventus was pressuring. Mandzukic, one of the best in the league at pressuring. So.
Juventus did a great job of keeping Roma out of the attacking third, and Alexi Lawless always talks about on TV possession with purpose, and that wasn't evident with Roma, and it was just very frustrating as someone who was rooting for Roma. I'm sure for you it was much worse. It was just a very frustrating match to watch because it seemed like Roma were just out of ideas. Yeah. They weren't able to break down the Juventus defense. There were some errant passes, really, and you felt like Raja Nainggolan was really the only player who seemed like he was doing anything. I think Daniele De Rossi is over it, to be honest. I don't know if he's good enough anymore.
No, not against the better sides. Yeah.
Right. So, I think they have some. It's very impressive that Roma are able to do what they do with the. They're a good team, but I think they need a true creative player in the midfield. I think,
which I think was Miralem Pjanic.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true. It was, and Nainggolan does well at center attacking mid, but I think he's much more effective as a two-way midfielder. I don't know how you feel about that.
I definitely agree. It's really hit or miss. He scored twice in the past 3 games, but those are positions that he could have gotten in either way. I don't think that he helps link the midfield and the attack.
Right. Well, and obviously I'm not making this comparison in terms of talent, but Raja Nainggolan's a much better player than Michael Bradley, in my opinion, and in pretty much everyone's opinion. But it's kind of like when Michael Bradley would play center attacking midfielder against CONCACAF opponents versus against top opponents. He can get the job done, but you need a true number 10. Or play with 2 strikers. I think that's another option Roma could explore. But there needs to be someone there, and that's something they have to address in January.
I think a big thing is that Spalletti lost confidence in El Shaarawy. He hasn't played much this season. If he was in the form like last season, I think you could easily say put Perotti in that 10 role and just start El Shaarawy out wide.
Well, we saw that a little bit towards the end of the match, right? When El Shaarawy came on. They sort of switched to Perotti being underneath underneath Edin Dzeko with El Shaarawy and Salah on the wings, and they started to look more like a cohesive attack. But I think coming into this match, Spalletti didn't want to sacrifice his midfield, which he would have had to do. So that's why Pjanic was so great, right? Because he was a creative player, but he also did a midfielder's job as well. And he's just a huge loss for Roma. And I thought he had a decent match for Juventus before he got hurt.
He dived a few times.
He was. Yeah.
There's a little bit of salt there, so.
It's just. I think this is not necessarily related to Roma and Juventus. It's just. It's so one of the worst things, in my opinion, about European soccer is teams like Juventus and Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and Barcelona. They buy talent from within the league, and it kind of sucks because it sort of takes away the competitiveness towards the top of the table, especially in Serie A. Roma really going forward can't afford to sell their best players to Juventus because you're never going to win the league if you do that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And we're almost done with this, but I think that John Solano, who featured on our Serie A preview last year, had a good tweet. The Scudetto isn't lost in games like this for Roma. It's lost when you can't beat the provincial sides and you drop points against those teams. Because,
absolutely.
We've dropped points against Atalanta and Sampdoria. If you win those games, then this isn't a must-win. This is a game that you can say, okay, they're Juventus going into Turin. Like that's. But now it's like you have to think about it like, oh, they're dropping points and we'd be gaining points. This is a chance to swing. But in reality, it should be looked at as just a hard game that you're probably not going to get points from. So you have to finish against the provincial sides.
Absolutely, and the thing is, the other thing is Champions League qualification. Roma are in second place right now with 35 points, but Atalanta are in sixth place with 32 points. So even at this point, Champions League is not a sure thing for them. Automatic qualification is definitely not a sure thing for them. So, you really have to get the job done. And I think, Roma, I just don't think they have the talent to consistently break down defenses right now. I think if they are in a more open match, they can compete. We're going to talk about Everton and Liverpool a little bit, and it's a similar comparison in that Everton, against teams in the bottom half of the table, we cannot beat them because we can't break them down. But when it's a more open match, like with Arsenal, we can compete in that way.
Yeah.
And Roma are a better team than Everton. That's not a secret. But you see with that lack of creative presence, they just aren't able to break Juventus down, even with two of their better defenders missing. Yeah. So, Roma, I'm confident Roma will finish second or third in the league.
Third is really not good enough. We know how hard it is for Serie A teams to.
Well, starting this year, you get 4, don't you? Or is that next year?
I think that's next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's going to be tough. But like I said, Juventus does play AC Milan this week. Obviously, if Milan wins, it's sort of a lose-lose for Roma. You gotta, because AC Milan then could theoretically jump Roma.
If we trust,
you have to decide as a fan: is the Scudetto, is it over? Is the race over, or do you just want Juventus to run the table and take all the points they can from other teams, or do you think you got a chance to catch up?
Yeah, that's true. It is a decision that you have to make when you're in terms of who you're rooting for. I think a draw would be nice. I mean, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's good. That's at least only 2 points distributed. Yep. So, all right.
Everton-Liverpool. The Merseyside Derby happened on Monday at 1:00, and Liverpool ended up taking all 3 points thanks to a 94th minute strike by Sadio Mane. Sturridge managed to beat Baines on the dribble, fires off a shot with his left foot across cross to the opposite post, and Mane is able to easily clean it up, and it ended up 1-0 for Liverpool. Overall, did you have fun watching this game as an Everton fan?
No, it was awful. Since I've been watching Everton, I don't think we've beaten Liverpool. Maybe once.
Maybe Jagielka's Wonder Strike?
No, that was to tie it, Sahil. That was
that to tie it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not as cool, though.
Even that, I had work that morning, and I left in the 88th minute.
That sucks. I remember seeing it live.
So I missed that. But yeah, that was to tie it. Really, this match changed at halftime because in the first 20 minutes, Everton were dominating. They had their share of chances. They weren't straightforward chances, but Ross Barkley had the ball at his feet. You felt like he should have done something better. But it really changed at halftime when James McCarthy got hurt and Gareth Barry came in. After that, Everton sat deep, let Liverpool attack, and, Everton just could not get the ball, and they could not get any attacking opportunities. And eventually, if you do that, Liverpool are going to break you down. Barry is over it. He started off the season pretty well, but he's over the hill. He's especially against a fast team like Liverpool that's going to press. I mean, Gareth Barry just doesn't cover enough ground, which is, you saw James McCarthy and Idrissa Gana Gueye in the first half covering all that ground and taking the ball and moving the ball forward. Also, Ener Valencia is not a winger. I don't think he can much in this match.
He didn't really do anything.
You had Kevin Morales on the bench. He wasn't used. Jared Deulofeu didn't even make the bench.
Did you think that the Calvert-Lewin substitution was that the right play by Koeman?
I mean, it was another striker played at a wing. I would have rather have seen Kevin Morales. But, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'm excited for him. You can tell he's going to be a good player, based on his touch and his demeanor. I think he wasn't fazed by the occasion. That being said, you kind of want an experienced goal scorer like Kevin Morales on the field. But, Liverpool deserved to win in the end, I think. It was Everton defended, and, they just Liverpool, you cannot sustain, you can't sustain like that. You can't continue to let them attack without having them score. And, credit to Liverpool, it was a heartbreaking loss.
It was kind of a lucky goal. I mean,
yeah, no, it was. I mean, Robles, I think, has to do better there. He was maybe blinded. Sturridge is dribbling across the face of goal to his left. He takes a shot across goal. Robles dives to his left. It hits the post. And, Sadio Mane follows it up. And
so you're saying Robles should have saved Sturridge's shot?
I think so. Maybe not. Maybe he was blinded. But you could tell he hesitated right before he dove. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
But I think the injury to James McCarthy and the injury to Martin Stecklenburg really made a big difference in this match because that's two substitutes down, one being a goalkeeper. And, it's hard. In a match like this, it would have been nice to have some fresh legs towards the end in order to ensure that we win or we draw, excuse me. I think it caught up to us. But much like Roma, Everton did not get Romelu Lukaku involved at all. He's just on an island. In the first half he was more involved, but especially in the second half, he's on an island. Gareth Barry makes the entire team drop to cover for the lack of ground he can cover, and it ends up biting us in the butt. So, like I said, credit to Liverpool. What are they? Are they in second place right now?
Yeah, they're 6 points off of Chelsea.
Yeah, so, whatever.
I mean, I think that even though Joe Robles maybe should have saved that last shot at the end, he did make a couple good saves. In the 82nd minute, great effort by Roberto Firmino on the corner kick. He just volleyed it, and he had to force a great save out of Robles.
Yeah, it was a great save. But Everton, like Roma, they both need to go out in January, which is 10 days away, and bring in some players, some difference makers, because they need it. especially Everton.
And apparently, I mean, I don't know, you know about Everton's financial situation better than I do, but they have the money after this new ownership, correct?
Yeah, they should have the money. I mean, that's at least what we believe. So, there are players, they're saying we might be going after Gabbiadini again, which I'd be very happy with. Morgan Schneiderlin, Memphis Depay. Those are the players we're being linked with right now. So, I mean, I'd be happy with all of them.
At this point in the season, do you think that Ashley Williams has outdone what John Stones done in the previous year, and are you okay with that swap?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that John Stones will be a great, great defender. That being said, there is also no doubt in my mind that Ashley Williams right now is a much better defender than John Stones and a much better leader. And especially with Phil Jagielka not playing that well, you need someone like Ashley Williams in defense there. And we signed him for, 10 million, 11 million pounds and sold John Stones for 40, 50 million. So I'm okay with it, especially since John Stones wanted to leave and he didn't have a good season last year. So
yeah,
I think that was a good piece of business. And also Idrissa Gana, he's a great player in the midfield, in the middle of the park.
Yeah. He's actually small. So, when I first heard about him, I thought he would be really tall.
He's like Conte. He's Conte light. I mean, it's very similar.
Yep.
Conte's a better player for sure. But
so from a Liverpool perspective, now they're 6 points behind Chelsea. They're showing in this game that they don't just have to win when they're playing spectacularly. They can win an ugly game too. Do you think that Liverpool can challenge Chelsea for the title? Because right now they're in second place.
I think they can. And I think we're talking about how Roma needs to be near perfect. And although Chelsea has been near perfect, I think the margin for error in the Premier League is much larger than it is in Serie A. In that you can afford to drop points here and there. That being said, I think Liverpool are a little too inconsistent. They lost to Bournemouth last week. I don't necessarily see them keep pace, but they can make some signings, and they absolutely could. I think Chelsea are going to continue at this pace, though. I know I kind of just contradicted myself saying you can maybe drop points, but I don't see them. Maybe that's the Everton fan in me hoping they don't win. But I just don't see it happening. But they've shown that going forward they are going to be consistent contender, because this is only Klopp's. This is Klopp's first real year in charge with his own signings and with his philosophy implemented into Liverpool's side. And if they can qualify for the Champions League, get that money, get that. Liverpool is one of the biggest clubs in the world, as much as it pains me to say it. So that coupled with Champions League opportunities can really attract some top-level talent. But, Chelsea are going to get reinforcements, too. The rumor is that James Rodriguez in January coming to Chelsea. So
that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Hazard and James.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that team really outdid my expectations this year.
Well, they did not outdo mine, because
good job.
I picked them to win the title.
I'm still gonna say Manchester City. If I have one chance to change my prediction, actually the only reason I'm saying that is because I just want to be right initially. I kind of think Chelsea are gonna win it, but I'm still going to Manchester City. They're only 1 point below Liverpool. They can still pull it back. And they're
they're there. You're right.
Yeah, they have the potential to do well too. It'll be interesting, but I think you're right. If Chelsea, it might take an injury or something for Chelsea at this point.
That's true.
All right, so our next segment is going to be our stories, our European stories, where we just talk about some broader themes that are happening, or just not anything but reviewing over games. So, what is your European story for this week?
All right, so former U.S. international David Wagner, who's currently the coach of Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield Town, in the English Championship, has been linked with a move to Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg are currently 15th place in the Bundesliga. Remember, there are only 18 teams in the Bundesliga, so they're towards the bottom. Huddersfield Town are currently in 4th place. Wagner has done a great job. The report broke on Monday that he is the front runner to sign with Wolfsburg. That being said, today Wagner came out and said that his focus is on Huddersfield Town, and he has confirmed that, quote, "It is correct that there has been interest from a few Bundesliga clubs. They have obviously seen the way we are going at Huddersfield Town and the journey we have been on together over the last 12 months. He also said it's important for me to clarify that my focus is on moving forward at Huddersfield Town." He also later in the interview said, Huddersfield Town may not be a Bundesliga club or one that plays in European competition, but make no mistake, we are a serious, proud, ambitious club with a rich history. So,
wow.
You know, he seems like he's committed. That being said, a nice deal back in the Bundesliga. Remember, he is a German American. He was the coach for the Borussia Dortmund under-20 team, or Borussia Dortmund 2 team, the reserve team, when Jurgen Klopp was there. So, but it's good news. It's good news for American coaches abroad, especially since Bob Bradley's struggling right now.
Yeah. Bob Bradley may be fired, right?
I mean, that's. I think Swansea came out and said that they're going to give him time and an opportunity, but he needs to start getting results.
Yeah. I just thought like it was kind of funny. It just made me laugh when he was just like, "My focus is on Huddersfield Town." I don't know. It just sounds funny when you're talking about Wolfsburg at the same time. I mean, yeah, he seems dedicated, but like no coach is gonna say like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely like looking forward to go upgrading." Like, I mean,
right. But you know, it's nice to see some loyalty in soccer. That being said, I'm never going to begrudge anyone for trying to better their own career and better their own lives. Because, you know, Huddersfield Town could fall apart, and then all of David Wagner's options are gone, you know? It's the same thing with a player moving to a bigger club. If they have the opportunity to make more money and to be on a bigger stage, you know, you take that opportunity.
See, if my kid is at Roma, right, and then they go to Real Madrid, I'm never talking to them again. That's just how it goes.
All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
All right. My European story involves USWNT player Alex Morgan. She had kind of a rough season last year with the Orlando Pride, only scoring 4 goals in 15 games, but now she's been loaned to France until June. It's a good move. Her dream has always been to play Champions League soccer, and Lyon is headed to the quarterfinals of the Women's Champions League. They'll be playing Wolfsburg in March. So that's exciting stuff for Alex Morgan. We hope that she can get back to the form that we know she's capable of. So she's a great player.
Yeah. Wait, they're playing Wolfsburg?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good matchup. I'm pretty sure Wolfsburg are one of the more
story.
One of the more. Well, I mean, none of them are that story because women's football is sort of a new thing. But yeah, I mean, Lyon's a good team. They have I can never pronounce her name. It's like Jennifer Marozsan, I think. She's a pretty prominent player for the German national team. So you know they also have Ada Hegerberg. So she plays for Norway, and she actually has 59 goals and 43 appearances for Lyon. So
damn.
So she and Alex Morgan up top could be, and she's only 21 years old, by the way, could be really exciting. Hopefully Alex can get into the team.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the bigger clubs in Europe. So, I think it's cool to see Americans playing abroad and making an impact. I mean, I guess for women's soccer, like we already have a pretty good name around the world. So like it's not like. You know, like
right, but you know the NWSL, we want to survive. It's only a couple of years old. The previous league, the what was it? The WPSL, Women's Professional Soccer League, something like that. It folded. So you want your top players to be here to generate interest. That's a huge loss for Orlando because I think Alex Morgan is probably the most popular U.S. Women's National Team player right now. So it's a big loss for the league, but good for Alex Morgan. I'm not on a first name basis with him. So. Good for Alex Morgan.
All right. Our next topic is top 5 USMNT abroad performances, is it not?
Are we skipping the expansion draft?
Oh, no. Let's talk about the expansion draft.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This kind of stuff doesn't actually happen when we're like recording in the same location because I think there's like a slight delay that throws it all off.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So Atlanta United and Minnesota United will be 2 MLS teams that are coming in 2017, and the expansion draft allows them to draft a couple of current MLS players and add them to their team. So, what were some of the big coups that some of these teams got in your eyes?
Well, of course, teams can protect a certain amount of players, so it's not like they can get Jovinko or Giovanni Dos Santos. But with the first pick, Atlanta took Danny Toya, who, it was an interesting choice. He had a really good run with Montreal. He's the fullback from Montreal. He had a really good run with them in the CONCACAF Champions League a couple of years ago. But I don't think he did that much this season. I think a really good signing for Atlanta was Clint Irwin from Toronto. We just saw him in MLS Cup final. And then for Minnesota, their third pick, Mohamed Said from Columbus. And Said was obviously behind Tony Chani and Will Trapp and didn't get, he got into a lot of matches, but he started a lot this year, but I think starting next year they might have phased him out, which is why they protected the other two and not him. And he's a very good player in the middle of the park. So that I thought was a great pickup for Minnesota.
Yeah, I think their first pickup, Cristobal, was pretty good too. He's a solid fullback.
Yeah. And Jeff Antonella for Minnesota, the goalkeeper from Real Salt Lake. When Nick Rimando got hurt, he was fantastic. Excuse me. I'm excited for him to get his chance to start in the league. And I'm actually, it's just hitting me that these two teams are going to start this year. In a few months now, 3 months from now, 4 months from now. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and I think it's good that both these teams got goalkeepers. It's just the pool of like good goalkeepers is so small. So I mean, trying to start with like a rookie goalkeeper isn't like the best experimentation. So I think that. Right. Especially Clint Irwin, like you said, for Minnesota.
Right. Well, I'm interested to see where Toronto goes from here with goalkeeper, who they'll bring in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Josie.
Yeah, maybe. He can play anywhere.
Actually, Giovinco was pretty useless in the final. So
yeah, he was.
Maybe he could play. No, he's way too small. Also, I feel like the ball would just like knock him back into the goal.
I don't think so.
No, I love Giovinco. I mean, I don't love him, but
all right.
I like what he's brought to MLS, but
okay, yeah, I think everyone does.
I mean, he was a former Juventus player, so there's a bit of bad blood there, but
okay.
Yeah,
well, when you talk to him,
I would still have him on the podcast if you wanted to be, but you would do the talking. I would just kind of listen.
Okay.
All right, moving on to top 5 USMNT abroad performances. Number 5.
Number 5 is DeAndre Yedlin. DeAndre Yedlin started and played 90 minutes in Newcastle's 2-1 win over Burton and Albion. He's consistently starting there. It looks like Newcastle is going to get promotion, and hopefully he'll be a starter in the Premier League.
Number 4.
Number 4, Djibouti Aribi, the fantastic, well, not fantastic yet, but a very exciting and promising winger for Chesterfield, had an assist in their 1-0 win over Bolton.
Number 3.
Number 3, there's a little bit of a delay there. Bjorn Janssen, of Hearts, Perry Kitchens Club, scored a goal in their 1-1 draw versus Partick Thistle, excuse me. That is his 6th goal of the season, and I believe he was named Scottish Premier League Player of the Month.
Oh, okay.
So he's another exciting one. He's like 24, 25, but he's scoring goals, his 6th of the season.
Mm-hmm. Number 2,
Alfredo Morales played his entire match and scored a goal, a game-winning goal for Ingolstadt in their 2-1 win over Bayer Leverkusen, a much-needed victory, a great headed goal for him, and his first goal for Ingolstadt in the Bundesliga.
Really?
Yeah.
Has he scored like in the Pokal
this season,
or something?
Excuse me, this season. Sorry, that's important.
Yeah, I knew. Okay, I knew I'd seen Alfredo Morales goals before.
Yeah.
Maybe Bruce Arena will give him a shot because I don't. Did he make that many caps under Jurgen Klinsmann? I don't remember.
No, yeah. He didn't. So, Number one. All right. I guess I'm just going to do it. Number 1, Bobby Wood. He played 84 minutes and scored a goal in Hamburg's 3-1 loss to Mainz. A wonderful, wonderful goal from outside the box. It was their only goal. That was his 3rd goal of the season. Today, Tuesday, he scored his 4th goal of the season, the game winner over Schalke to go up 2-0. They ended up winning 2-1. Great goal, great individual skill. I sent you the goal. Did you watch it?
No.
Well, after we stop recording, you're going to watch it.
How about I watch it right now, and then the audience will get to see my live reaction.
Okay, I'll describe it. He comes down the right wing, beats the entire defense, then cuts in onto his left foot, and a nice left-footed finish for him. I'm just so excited for Bobby Wood and the potential he has with this team. Are you watching it right now?
It's getting pulled up right now. But Bobby Wood, if you didn't know, was born in Hawaii.
Okay. I appreciate your stalling techniques.
All right. So here he goes. Okay, he's running down the field. He's running down. Okay, stops for a second, gets down to his left. Oh, what a strike.
All right, and that's your live commentary.
82nd minute goal, yeah.
Yeah, and that was to put him up 2-0 over Schalke, and
you said
they ended up winning 2-1.
So that goal was important because
it was the game-winning goal. It was they won 2-1, so good for Bobby. 4th goal of the season for him.
All right. That looks like it's going to be it for the main part of the podcast. We have an email for this podcast. It's SoccerBrothersPodcast@gmail.com. We have Twitters and Instagrams. Those are at SoccerBrosPod. If you want to check out my brother on Twitter, he's at BigTimeBrownie. I'm at ASR_Sahil. We also are on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Podkicker, pretty much everywhere where there's podcasts, so you should check us out on an offline source if you're only listening through Twitter on SoundCloud. And make sure to give us feedback no matter where you're listening.
We also have a website, SoccerBrothersPodcast.com. Go check that out. We have some cool stuff over there as well.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys next time on episode 68 of the Soccer Brothers Podcast. Thanks.